Hillary Clinton's had a lot of people that supported her throughout the years. One of those people's name is Philippe Reines. Now, Philippe Reines was recently on a podcast with Sam Weinstein, I think it's his name, and on that podcast they made comments. Reines, who is he's a political operative, a consultant with years in the game, and one of the feathers in his cap is helping Hillary Clinton's campaign. He's very close to the Clinton machine, as you know, which has been running the Democratic Party for now 20, 30 years. Some questions are asked about 2020, and I'd like to play for you what was discussed, and then we're going to conversate about it.
Who could win the primary and the general election in the Democratic Party?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't.
Is that because you don't see someone out there now?
I think there are people out there that would make great presidents. I just don't know how you get through both and then still be. I mean, the one thing that Secretary Clinton has always said, whether it's about her or just in general, is, a campaign is between two people. And why that sounds obvious, right now when people talk about Donald Trump, it's really Trump or not Trump. When it's Trump versus Booker or Trump versus Sanders or that's a very different dynamic. Mm-hmm. And I always think of it this way, that if the election were held tomorrow, stick in a name, would Trump win? And I have a hard time thinking of, like I think Tom Hanks would win, and I think The Rock would win. I have a hard time seeing how a lot of the people who are running would win, just as comparison. That doesn't mean that they're not. He's a freak of nature, and doesn't matter if he's dumb or not. Doesn't matter what I think. He is a bulldozer.
So if you were betting now, you think he wins in 2020?
Net, yeah.
And
yeah.
Do you need
for a lot of reasons? Also because moments in history like this tend to not get resolved. The only two presidents in the last 85 years have been denied a second term: Jimmy Carter,
George H.W.
and George H.W. Bush, and both because they had, as a sign of trouble, they had serious primary challengers. It's harder to lose the office than get the office.
Do you think that a celebrity will run? I mean, do you think the Democrats need a
celebrity? Sure. I saw something on Page 6 yesterday, a celebrity who I'd never... I mean, I love reading Page 6, and at this point, I don't understand who half these people are. Like, it'll say, The Weeknd is coming to Utah. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't understand. Isn't it... What do you mean, this weekend in Utah? Yeah. Like, I just don't... All these one-name things.
But you mentioned Tom Hanks. Do you think there is...
I did because of the Saturday Night Live.
No, I agree with you.
I think. No, I'm not kidding. There was someone yesterday who seriously said they're thinking about running. I didn't know who they were.
Have you heard any? I mean, you are plugged into these kind of circles of any. No. Do you think Joe Biden would have won in 2016?
No.
Okay. There's a lot of people pissed off about this guy, Mr. Reines. Now, Mr. Reines, political consultant, joined the Department of State as senior advisor to Hillary Clinton when she became the Secretary of State, and was promoted to the position of Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Strategic Communications. 2016, in the debate preparations for Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, Reines stood in for Donald Trump. So they did simulations so that she could prepare to debate Donald Trump, and he was her Donald Trump. Get it? CBS commented that Reines is known for his bullish, combative personality, traits that often mirror Trump's personal debate style. So, all right, so a couple people covered this, like I stated, Jimmy Dore and Kyle Kulinski covered. And they said that this guy, Reines, that nobody's talking about. There are a lot of people out there that could beat Donald Trump. Hope I'm getting that right, because it don't make sense to me. Like, I understand we don't want a celebrity, right? We don't want a celebrity. We don't open the floodgates on celebrities running for political office. But Donald Trump just proved that America is so desperate like so tired of politicians that it's willing to take a flyer on anything, even Donald Trump. I mean, that's what they did. America just said, you know what? Hillary's promising more of Obama. I'm going to go with something different. He's promising to bring jobs back, coal jobs back to West Virginia. He's promising to do a lot of stuff. Hillary's promising to just keep things going the way they're going. And the way they're going, they're not going so good for me. So I'm going to go with Donald Trump. So I think we're in a new era where, whether you like it or not, celebrities are going to be considered because we just had a celebrity win. And now, see, here's my thing, and this is why I disagree with Kyle and Jimmy. We just had Donald Trump didn't just win against Hillary. He won against everybody in the Republican field. In fact, it wasn't even close. He trounced. How many did Reines point out? 13, 14, 15? I don't know how many Republicans did Donald Trump dust. Establishment Republicans like Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush and Christie and Santorum, whatever. These are people with long track records in politics, hundreds of years of political experience. And Donald Trump shows up and hands them their asses. Says, here goes your ass, here you go. Take that with you, put it in your backpack, and go on home, because I'm going to be going against Hillary, or whoever wins the Democratic nomination. I think you can't underestimate that. You got to kind of look at it for what it is and say, yeah, this is a different thing that's going on. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, or you think he's kooky or crazy or whatever, don't matter. What matters is people, voters, said, better than this bag of lies, well, better than this Democrat who I can't stand. In fact, the division between both parties is so vast that likable celebrity can somewhat lower some of the defenses that are automatically going to be there. So I don't think he can just dismiss this idea of celebrity. Do I want that to happen? No, I don't. I think probably be a good idea to have somebody with a little bit of experience. But come on, man. Presidents are run by corporations. For the most part. I mean, I know we like to have this idea that the person who gets elected makes most of the decisions, but by the time they get in office, they're so beholden to corporate interests that, can we really say Barack Obama was the president? I mean, can't we just admit Wall Street was the president? Can't we just admit that the insurance companies were the president? Or at least they shared the office with him. Yeah, like, he was president on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, but they had the rest of the week. I mean, we got to be a little bit honest here. And I understand part of the anger that people feel, part of the angst, frustration, right? The offense that Jimmy or Kyle felt is because, well, they think that Bernie Sanders could be that guy that could defeat Donald Trump. I don't know if he can be at this point. I know he could have been, but has that ship sailed? Can we still say America's where it was 2 years ago? I'm just being honest. Can we say that we are in the same position we were 2 years ago? I don't think we are. I don't think anything stays the same. I think that there was a window for Bernie Sanders, and it was closed by Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, corporate media, all of those bastards who decided they wanted to coronate Hillary Clinton. I think that Martin O'Malley, Lincoln Chafee, Jim Webb, when they got out of the race, they got out because they knew what time it was. They knew that the decision was already made that Hillary Clinton was going to get that nomination. There was no reason for them to waste campaign money or political capital on that race. I think Bernie's stubbornness to stay in it is all a credit to who he is as a human being. Some people think I don't like Bernie. I do like Bernie. What I'm saying is I don't think the country's in the same place it was 2 years ago. And typically, it's hard to unseat presidents. Very difficult task. So as it pertains to 2020, will a rock be necessary? Will a Oprah need to run? Will a Tom Hanks type bigger than larger than life figure, well-liked, name recognition off the charts, will that be a viable option? Yeah, it will be. That's how bad it is. I think to dismiss it and just say, well, it just takes policy, that takes you to look in a very narrow little pinhole of your own bubble. And look, I used to do that. I used to just look in progressive pinhole. Ooh, look at in the pinhole. Look around. But there's a bigger country out there of people who are disengaged, people who are moderate. See, progressive activists are a very small percentage of the country. There's a lot more people who don't pay attention to Papadopoulos or Michael Flynn, Stormy Daniels. And they don't pay attention to this shit. You do. For most Americans, the name recognition means something. And it's possible, and we're about to find out, if America has passed the threshold, if we're in a new era where it's less about pedigree, less about dynasty, and more about just how people feel. I think Obama, not just Trump, I think Obama started that. I think people voted for Obama because how they felt. There was no reason in the world to think a freshman senator, state senator, was going to come in to be president. A half black president. I think that by itself was, when no one predicted it, okay? And just ask John Lewis, ask the Congressional Black Caucus, who all got behind Hillary Clinton. Ask just ask around. So I think that was started, I don't even think he can give Trump the credit. I think he got to start with crediting Obama with changing politics and letting the unlikely become the reality. All right, guys. If you like the Tim Black Show, you enjoy watching it, well, now you can watch us on Roku. That's right. Go to Roku and get your Tim Black TV fix. Go Roku Tim Black TV, and I'll pop right up. Same shows you watch on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, now available on Roku. Oh, and make sure you leave a review. A good one.